I'll do a little background on me. For those of you that weren't here for the earlier session, name's Kenneth Ellington. I've been in the field for around 7 years now. I initially taught elementary students cybersecurity back at my local elementary school. That was very interesting. Getting to sit down for more than 5 seconds was always the biggest chore. From there, I became a software engineer, threat intelligence person. Then I went back to cybersecurity because I hated programming in Java for business applications all day. I worked from being sim engineer, SOAR engineer. I then went to EY and I was a senior consultant. So I worked for Fortune 100 firms all across the globe, and I helped them get their cybersecurity programs up and running, architect environments out, build detection rules, do incident response work, do threat hunting work. I also run my own company called Ellington Cyber Academy, where I train students, professionals, managers, senior engineers on how to use certain technology stacks and how to get hired, get promoted within the cybersecurity field. So we've been in business for 3 years as of this month. So it's been a big blessing on that front. So my area of focus mainly is threat intelligence, threat hunting, detect engineering, sim engineering, those type of threat side for cybersecurity. So I primarily focus on. When so many questions along that line at all, just let me know, and I'll be happy to answer them. First question. I knew, and by the way, I do love that Satoru Gojo profile pic. I think it's awesome. I'm happy for season 3 coming out. First question would be, what's one mindset shift or habit that helped you go from being entry level to advancing your cybersecurity or your career in cybersecurity? I'll probably say the biggest thing was being willing to do what others were not willing to do. I talked about this in my earlier talk for the day. But for me, I was willing to sacrifice quite a lot to get towards this point. For me, that meant some weeks working 60, 70 hours to just get the work done, right? That meant traveling if I had to travel. That meant moving when I had to move, because I'm from Tampa, Florida. I currently live in Dallas, Texas. I moved when I was 23, 24 to get my career really started within cybersecurity. It was mentally hard. It was very draining, but I was willing to do it because getting my career was my biggest focus in my early and mid 20s, right? So I was willing to make the sacrifices others were not willing to make to get towards those goals. And I'm very happy that I did that, right? So my thing that I would tell you is understand like what you actually want to do, and then if that's your true desire, then be willing to make the sacrifices in order to reach that. My biggest thing I'll tell you. Tip for starting your own tech company. So market network can be the same as if you were looking for a job. It's gonna depend what company you want to start, right? Oh, you said tech company. Yeah, it still depend what tech sector, right? Cybersecurity, AI, compliance work, consulting work, right? It'll depend. Understand running your business is insanely hard. And it's very unlikely you'll be successful. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying it to be as a matter of fact, right? I honestly have no idea how the business has run this long, to be quite honest with you. It's insanely mentally draining. It is very hard. I do love it, and it is very enjoyable. It is a lot of work, right? That'd be my first thing that I would tell you, right? Like why do you actually want to start a company, right? Because you're gonna work way more than you ever would working like a 9-to-5 job. Just understand that, right? But to go towards your original question, so marketing that can be the same as if you're looking for a job. It'll be slightly different because you're representing yourself instead of another company, right? So the people you talk to will probably be slightly different than as if you're looking for a job, right? So probably more business owners. It honestly, it's independent on what your business model is, to be quite honest with you. So the overall frameworks will be the same for how you make connections. Just the people you talk to will be slightly different. That's what I tell you. Renee put cybersecurity, GRC, or forensics field. It all depends on what you want to do, right? So it literally just depends on if you want to do GRC, forensics. They're different fields completely within cybersecurity. So my biggest thing would just tell you guys is pick one line and go for it. Don't get shiny object syndrome, because it's going to set you back, right? You can't know everything. You can't learn everything, so don't try to. Pick one path, go for it, and learn it, and then move on from there. A new post. I recently saw your post about purple teams maybe 2 hours before. What does working purple team really involve? I should put purple team. So there's red and blue teams, right? And when you mix red and blue, you get purple. Hence why I call purple. So purple team gamers normally are where the red team will try to emulate certain adversarial techniques using like TTPs from MITRE, for example, to try to compromise an environment. Then the blue team will actually try to defend against it based off of what they've been told. And then they'll interact together to see how they're able to better protect the environment. So that's going to be so if you're purple team and you both have red and blue team skills, right? So you can probably use Atomic Red Team. You can probably use Smoke and Security, some EDRs, right? Some other platforms as well, other different areas, right? So it would actually emulate different threats and then protect against it. Those are normally purple team engagements. Those are normally a little bit more advanced. So normally a firm will either have an internal team if they're a large enough firm, or they will have a consulting firm like EY or like Deepwatch, or just outsource it. So it just depends. In terms of credentials, would an MBA or non-technical training be useful for a tech entrepreneur? What is your budget? Is what I asked you, right? I don't have an MBA and I run my own company. I run a 6-figure company, right? And I don't have an MBA, all right? So no, you technically don't need one. If you want to get one for your own intrinsic reasons, then go for it. But you don't need an MBA to run a company.